Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the season finale of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Guys, we have come to the close of this year's NFL season. The Super Bowl has happened. A lot of emotions happened, and I'm actually glad we took a little bit of a breather to really get to see and feel, what happened in that Super Bowl because things were off kilter. So let's get to some stats, with that. I was very entertained by the game. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it wasn't that good. Look, it was a blowout." Listen, I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna tell you why I was entertained by it. But of course, by now you guys know the Eagles. Uh, they fucked up the Kansas City Chiefs. They put belt to ass to the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to the Eagles, your Super Bowl champions, your 2024-2025 Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Salute. Get to some player stats. It is weird saying because y'all know how I always put the losing team. I say their stats first. Putting the Chiefs on the losing, this feels weird. I'm gonna be real with you. That feels weird. Whatever. Patrick Mahomes, 21 of 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. He also led them in rushing with 4 carries for 25 yards. Xavier Worthy had 8 receptions for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. And DeAndre Hopkins also had a receiving touchdown. Jalen Hurts was 17 of 22 for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He also led them in rushing with 11 carries for 72 yards and one touchdown. Saquon had 25 carries for 57 yards. They keyed in on Saquon. Devontae Smith had 4 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. AJ Brown had 3 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown. Um, yeah, man, it was some picks. Zach Bond had a pick. Cooper DeJean had a pick. Who had a pick over for the Chiefs? Who had that pick? Brian Cook had a pick for the Chiefs. All right. So I know what y'all going to say. But Reek, you said that the Chiefs was going to win the whole thing and they wasn't going to get stopped by nobody and then nobody could beat them. And this is a foregone conclusion. I heard it. I heard what y'all say. Y'all left that comments in my y'all left it in my inbox. I got the comments. Yeah, I heard what y'all said and you're right. I did say that. Now, I also did say this, and this is real. I said if the Eagles, if this was another team, right? If this was another team, not the Chiefs, I would very easily be picking the Eagles. The problem with this is over the last 3 years and 6 of the last 7 years, this league has not made sense because the Chiefs have been dominating it in a way that goes against knowledge, common knowledge. The Eagles did the common knowledge thing, and they built their roster the way that you're supposed to defeat a team like this. Now, why was this game not boring to me? Listen, when you talk about a team, hold on, let me take a sip on this. It's a season finale. I'm taking some sips. When you're coming into a game, you're facing a juggernaut. The whole week you hear how great they are, how unbeatable they are, how it's a foregone conclusion. Nobody picks you. You tend to get tired of hearing that shit, and that's the truth. So for the Eagles to now come in and say, I heard you. Now I'm about to show the world what time it is. I'm not ever going to be annoyed. I'm never going to be bored watching that game because that's poetry in motion. That's Muhammad Ali shaking up the world. When he said, I shook up the world. That's the what's it, the '07 Giants beating the undefeated Patriots. That's that's the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James coming back from 3-1 against Golden State and winning. Like there's, you know what I'm saying? Like I showed you what time it was. Like I'm not gonna hate that. They showed the Chiefs what time it was. Um, I think this is going to be a very interesting offseason for both teams, but sticking to the game. Some of the storylines that I really, really, really liked. Um, Once again, and now I'll keep it like this. Some things that I said. To get to a quarterback, you need you need 2 pass rushers. Well, the Eagles had 2 pass rushers, didn't they? Um, the Eagles also didn't have a top 5 wide receiver this year. That's financially or catches or yards or anything like that. They did not have that this year. I also kind of said that, you know. Um, like I said, if this was any other situation, I would have definitely picked the Eagles to win this game. I just picked the Chiefs because the Chiefs were overcompensating and defying the odds and beating the teams, that they should be losing to. But if you want to beat Patrick Mahomes, the Eagles just showed you the formula. And I don't know why I have to have this conversation. This is the bigger storyline for me. I don't know why I always have to have this conversation with people about that don't want to listen and say that they need these cornerbacks or they need these wide receivers, they need these linebackers. And I'm like, no, you need two pass rushers, okay? Because as you can see, the Eagles handled the Chiefs' offensive line. They handled it, they dominated it, and that is why they won this game. Okay, they won it in the trenches. You need offensive line and defensive line and a quarterback. It's not complicated. You get your quarterback, you protect your quarterback, you go get their quarterback. If you have those things in place, you are in the 91st percentile. I don't need to hear anything else about the roster, you know? Um, and then some of the things that I've also said. So Jalen Hurts, going back to Jalen Hurts, at 17 to 22, 221 yards, two touchdowns, and a pick, and 72 yards rushing. I've made a comparison a little while ago that once again everybody said, "What are you talking about?" I said Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson were of the same ilk. Now, of course, Lamar Jackson is clearly the best of them, but they're the same ilk. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to see them making a whole bunch of passes. I don't want to see them taking. You know what I mean? I want to see efficiency, and I want to see some rushing yards, and I want to see about 22 attempts, 221 yards, 72 yards rushing. That's dominant. That's them dominating because it's efficient. You see, it's efficient, and when they do that, people can't stop them. Sorry, I'm just checking on stuff. I don't know. Y'all ever feel like something's going wrong? I don't know. It's just a feeling. But yeah, man, I'm glad Saquon got his ring from watching the Giants be stupid. They definitely keyed in on him. But that's why you don't like. That's why the real star on your offense really needs to be your quarterback and no one else because it makes it very obvious. Yeah, that's why these wide receivers and these running backs stopped working because defenses said and defensive coordinators said, well, this is what you're trying to do. This person, you're saying you can't win without this person. Well, I'm going to try to take that person away. That's why it's you know what I mean. It definitely is cool. So if I'm the Ravens, if I'm the Bills, you want to beat Patrick Mahomes. Miles Garrett is sitting there wanting out. He would love to go to either one of you guys. Go get him and go get another pass rusher too in this draft. Okay, that is all you need. Go get him and then go get a second pass rusher in this draft. That's what you need to do. Both y'all. I ain't got time to play with neither one of y'all. I don't care whose feelings I hurt now. That was the Super Bowl. So Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar. First of all, mwah. Kendrick Lamar. Now we won't talk about anything outside of football more for the most part, but seeing how it was a Super Bowl halftime show, we're talking about that. Kendrick Lamar was masterful. That is hip hop. What we saw. If you're gonna have controversy, if you're gonna do controversial things to bring art to it, that's what people don't understand about hip hop and what makes hip hop hip hop. Kendrick Lamar just went up 10 octaves for me in terms of the how I feel about him as a rapper and as a hip hop artist. I loved everything that happened there. And anybody that says different, I think they're being a hater. Sorry. Um so okay. So real quick, and we're kind of winging this one too, because I wanted to, sometimes you really want to test yourself and see, can I do this? How can I do this? So this one I didn't really set too many uh talking points, but I'm more or less freelancing what's going on here because I really want to see what's what. So we're gonna go next. We're gonna go to the top five. Well, let me put a bow on this. So now the 2024-2025 NFL season is over. We're now looking straight towards the 2025-2026 season because that's how football works. And you start working on stuff very early. So we're gonna do a very early look into next season on two fronts that I think is going to be great, and then we're going to wrap it up. Right now, we're going to go into top. We're going to go into five teams that I think can compete for a Super Bowl next year. Now, this is of course is a little bit of a prediction. Um, there's a little bit of a prediction because I think all of them have work to do. All of them have work to do, and I really am interested to see what happens. Even the Eagles, having won the Super Bowl, I think, and that's one thing that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to even mention it. I think we were talking about the Chiefs being the next dynasty and you know what I mean, juggernaut and stuff like that. I think we could be looking at the Eagles, how they're currently constructed, their ability to bring in rookie talent, their ability to um, get talent to understand roles. And you know, Nolan Smith was drafted years ago, and he just started busting out of nowhere. Pause. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. He started showing being very great. I'll leave that there. That was crazy. But yeah, so some teams that I think are Super Bowl contenders because I think that they're going to do what will make them I think they're going to do what will make them in like that NFC AFC championship game caliber. Now, when I say they're going to compete for a Super Bowl, that doesn't mean that they're going to win it or even get to the game, but these teams I definitely feel as though you need to look out for it. Now, of course, Chiefs, Eagles, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. Um, they're going to compete. Next, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Now, outside of the Eagles and the Chiefs, what the Rams have done to restructure this roster, man, I think this is a scary team. I want to see what they do because they got some controversy with Matthew Stafford. They're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. Are they going? I don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback position, but it seems as though they're going to have a quarterback, and I think they need to up their defense and let's see what's going to happen. You know, Cooper Cup probably won't be there, so I got a couple questions with him. But like what they were able to do thus far, I'm looking at them to take like another leap because they've been taking leaps ever since they won the Super Bowl. So, so we got the Eagles, we got the Chiefs, you got the Rams. Then I think you have, I think you got the Packers. The Packers, man, like people are not talking about them nearly enough. Like oops, sorry, y'all. The Packers were the youngest roster in the playoffs. Period. They have tons of cap space. Also, if I'm the Packers, I'd be trying to get Myles Garrett there. You see what I'm saying? And go get another. It's going to be a consistent trend here. Go get Myles Garrett there, and go get another pass rusher. You see? Then you're going to solve so much. So Chiefs, Eagles, Packers, Rams. All right. Then I'm going to go Buffalo. That is with the thought that they're going to go get Myles Garrett, though. So you notice that Myles Garrett and go get another. You say you get it. So yes, the Bills. I think if they've learned anything from this year, Baltimore and Buffalo, if you learned anything from this year, go get some pass rushers, please. Stop, just stop. And if they don't, they'll be in the same situation. If they do, we're talking about a potential Super Bowl champion right there. But yes, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Packers, and the Bills. Those are the five teams that I think legitimately could be competing for Super Bowl next year. It wouldn't be shocking. Now, honorable mention to the Commanders. I just think the Commanders have a lot of work to do on that roster. And history does not, I don't have enough history to say that they are going to handle that properly. They usually don't. So just going back from when they were Redskins, you know what I mean, to the football teams to now the Commanders. It's just not really happened that way in my lifetime. Now, before I was when they just run off some Super Bowls, you keep in mind who you're talking about. But for me, I haven't really seen it. And yeah, and Leon. Right. Okay. And finally, looking at the teams that Sorry. I'm looking up the teams that made the playoffs this year so I can give you six teams that won't make the playoffs next year. That I think I have a picture of six teams that um I don't think they're going to make the playoffs again after making it this year. Okay. So let's start on the AFC. So, so what I look at teams that won't make the playoffs. If they're having a big transition from this year to next year, that's a team that I'm looking at. Like if they lose their coordinators, if they're losing a bunch of free agents, if they're too close to the salary cap and they have a bunch of needs. Those are teams that I'm looking at and saying you're probably going to miss the playoffs. So I'll give you reasons why. But on average, there's six teams that don't make the playoffs. So I'm gonna give you six teams that won't make the playoffs from this year, that made the playoffs this year that will not make the playoffs last year. So once again, I'm giving you six teams that made the playoffs this year that will not make the playoffs next year. This is my predictions. So real easy. I'm gonna give you two right now. I'm gonna give you the Broncos and the Steelers. I didn't think the Steelers were gonna make the playoffs this year at the beginning of the year, so that's here nor there. Um, Too much transition for the Steelers. I think they could be giving I think they need a year to take a step back, to be honest with you. They just they need a quarterback. They need more wide receivers. I mean that defense being that good, I just don't feel it. I don't feel even if they like got like Aaron Rodgers or something like that, I still don't feel it. I just think they got holes that they need to fill. So yes, that's them. But the Broncos, I think they're going to slide out also. I think they're going to slide out and I think they could be better next year than they are this year. I think they're going to slide out because they, I just think there's reasons why other teams didn't make, there's reasons why good teams didn't make the playoffs, or should I say better teams didn't make the playoffs, and they ended up in the playoffs. So I'm not saying it was luck why they made the playoffs because they definitely overachieved. They're definitely a good roster. Had the defensive player of the year and Patrick Surtain. Um, I just think that there's better teams. Teams that I think are going to slide out of the playoffs next year. I'm giving you two more right now off the head. The Bucks and the Vikings in the NFC. The Buccaneers. I just don't think if they were in any other division, they would have made the playoffs the last 2 years. Now they won their division, but it was the NFC South. They won their division, but it was the NFC South. So I just don't think that they're going to do that 3 years in a row. And I think they're a prime candidate to come on out of the playoffs. The Vikings, I think it was a great year. I think it was a great year. I think they did a lot of great things. They took steps forward, but I think they overachieved for the talent on their roster, and I think that they I still feel the same way coming into next year as I did coming into this year. They might have the worst roster in their division. I don't think they have. They probably will have the third best quarterback, maybe in their division. The third best roster in it. That's just not a recipe for them to go back to the playoffs. So Vikings are coming out as well. Now I'm going to give y'all a curveball. The Detroit Lions coming out of the playoffs. I know I'm the one that told y'all they was getting in. They're going to end the championship game before everybody else even thought they were going to be a playoff team. Here's why the Detroit Lions, and this was a hard one for me. They're losing their offensive and defensive coordinator. It's simple. They're losing their offensive and defensive coordinator. I just don't think you got to understand that's an overhaul in culture on the offensive end and the defensive end. Change of culture on either one of them ends put you in a situation where you might miss the playoffs either way. They got to do more. Like I got to like I really thought about this in terms of how much do I believe in Dan Campbell as a head coach. The coordinator, he did a phenomenal job getting coordinators um his first go around. Can he do that again? I don't know. It's just something about it. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. See, this is why it gets hard when you get down to that sixth one. So I gave you the Vikings, the Bucks, the Lions. Then I gave you the Steelers, and the Broncos. And this was a bubble one. Honestly, I really had five more than six, but I'm gonna give you a bubble one. The bubble one for me is the Chargers. Um, Justin Herbert. I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all. He's very talented. He's gonna put up a lot of yards. He's gonna make it look very nice. He's he's gonna fold, man. He folds all the time. I know I said it. I finally said it. Cool. He folds. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the Chargers are definitely going to be on there, on the bubble as well, you know. But there's always, but like I'm telling you, there's always a team. That's what I love about the NFL. There's always a team that you're going to look at and you're going to say, oh, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. And that's the team that misses the playoffs. Like it might be like the Chiefs when the Chiefs not made the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it might be the Chiefs, and you're like, how in the world did that happen? You don't see it coming. It sounds weird, but there's always going to be a team. All right, guys. Either way, guys, this has been a phenomenal year. We added a lot to the staff. Of Cause You Don't Know Football, we added a lot to a lot of getting things right. You know what I mean? We're trying to be the best that we possibly can for you. So next season, what you can expect new co-hosts, new people coming on. Just having things put together a lot better. And that's something that we were always gunning towards trying to be great at. Um, and you know what? It's been a great experience doing all of this, and it hasn't felt like work. You know, like this has been a pleasure coming on talking to you guys about football from week to week. I want to thank all of my co-hosts who have come on because I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm interesting. I don't think I'm halfway as interesting as I am when these people are on. So this year, when we talk about JB, we talk about Tazar, Nick, Jamal, Mooch, you know I'm talking to you. Mike, you know what I mean? Derek, you know, these are all people that have come on and helped solidify what it is that we're trying to build here. Um, all highly talented people, all people I respect. I don't always agree with them. I think you see that. Um, I don't always agree with them, but I always bring on people that I don't agree with. So, love hearing their points, and we're gonna have more people next year. So with that said, for the last time of this Cuz You Know Football season, you can catch our full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. You can catch our reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Listen, we all over the place. Our growth has been phenomenal. We're probably gonna have a new page because just we'll just leave it at that. We're gonna have a new page. So please come on over, join our new page so we can keep the conversations going and everything. And with that said, guys, come closer. I got to tell you guys something. Cuz you don't know football. I'm your boy Reek, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for making my dreams come true. I will see you guys in the next season. And like Martin said, I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.